Hi, I'm Kevin Thomas.
Hi, I'm Kobe Hodgson.
Our presentation today will be on the New Testament of Luke chapter 16 verses 10 through 13. The theme of Luke chapter 16 verses 10 through 13 is that we have to handle small blessings to get big ones.
In the parable of Luke, chapter 16, verses 10 through 13, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and in doing so is the key to a better life. Now, we're going to read to you the parable of Luke, chapter 16, verses 10 through 13. Verse 10. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Verse 11. So, if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? Verse 12. And if you have not been trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you your property of your own? Verse 13. No one can serve two masters. Either you will love one or hate the other, or you will be devoted to one or despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money.
Now that you have a better understanding, I'm going to analyze it. He that is faithful in that which is least in quantity and quality, especially the latter in that which is of little value and worth, at least when compared with other things, is faithful also in much, in matters of greater consequence and importance. The sense of the proverb is that, generally speaking, a man that acts a faithful part in a small trust committed to him does so likewise in a much larger, and being tried and found faithful in things of less moment, he is entrusted with things of greater importance, though this is not always the case. For sometimes a man may behave with great integrity in lesser matters on purpose that he might gain greater confidence, which, when he has obtained, he abuses in the vilest manner. But because it is usually otherwise, our Lord uses the common proverb, and of like sense is the following. And he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. That man that acts the unfaithful part in a small matter and of little worth generally does the same, if a greater trust is committed to him. Faithful in a very little, elative, superlative, one of the profoundest sayings of Christ. We see it in business life. The man who can be trusted in a very small thing will be promoted to large responsibilities. That is the way men climb to the top. Men who embezzle in large sums began with small sums. Luke chapter 16, verse 10 through 13 here explains the point of the preceding parables.
Okay, now it's story time. During my 5th period class being physical education, my teacher, Mr. Newman, gave us a very interesting talk about trust. During class, we were learning about the trust fall. While learning about the trust fall, my teacher, Mr. Newman, told us a very good story, and I'm going to pass it on to my peers here at Bishop Alamany High School. He told us the following. If you cap someone 99 times, you gain their trust, and the person who is falling gets to the point where they don't even think about it. This is a great example of Luke chapter 16, verses 10 through 13, as it shows how someone who can be trusted with little can be trusted with much. My teacher, Mr. Newman, also told us, if you drop that person just once, all the trust is gone. And this is a good example of Luke chapter 16, verses 10 through 13, and how someone who can be trusted with very little cannot be trusted with much.
Notice how little we know concerning the relative importance of events and duties. We use the terms great and small in speaking of actions, occasions, or places only in reference to the mere outward look and first impression. We are generally ignorant of the real significance of events which we think we understand. Almost every person can recollect one or more instances where the whole aftercurrent of his life was turned by a single word or some incident so trivial as scarcely to fix his notice at the time. The outward appearance of occasions and duties is, in fact, almost no index of their importance, and our judgments concerning what is great and small are without any certain validity. These terms, as we use them, are, in fact, only words of outward description, not words of definite measurement. Notice how little we know concerning the relative importance of events and duties. We use the terms great and small in speaking of actions, occasions, or places only in reference to the mere outward look and first impression. We are generally ignorant and of the real significance of events, which we think we understand. Almost every person can recollect one or more instances where the whole aftercurrent of his life was turned by some single word or some incident so trivial as scarcely to fix his notice at the time. The outward appearance of occasions and duties, in fact, almost no index of their importance, and our judgments concerning what is great and small are without any certain validity. These terms, as we use them, are in fact only words of outward description, not words of definite measurement. It is to be observed that even as the whole word judges small things, notice how little we know concerning the relative importance of events and duties. We use
It is to be observed that there is more of real piety in adoring one small than one great occasion. The piety which is faithful, that which is least, is really a more difficult piety than that which triumphs and glares on high occasions. The importance of living to God in ordinary and small things is seen in the fact that character, which is the end of religion, is in its very nature a growth. And, accordingly, there has never been a great or beautiful character which has not become so by filling the ordinary and smaller offices appointed by God. Private Christians are instructed by this subject in the true method of Christian progress and usefulness. If it is your habit to walk with God in the humblest occasions of your days, it is very nearly certain that you will be filled with the Spirit always. Why is it that a certain class of men Thank you for listening to our presentation about Luke chapter 16, verses 10 through 13. And I hope learning about this will lead you to living a better life. Thank you, and I hope you deliver this message to the peers at Alamany. Thank you.